Heidi ho, don't you know? You know what I want to show you something. I'm starting a new journal because I've got only 88 unfinished journals, so I think I need 89. But this is what, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is going to be called a nesting journal. Nesting journal. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you how I'm doing this nesting journal and why. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch this part of the journal together with just a little, however you call this stitch thing. I'll make a hole in the middle. Oh, maybe I should do this accurately and make a line here. So how wide is this? This is 8.5 inches, so I need to have 4.25, and I'll make a spot there on 4.25. And then I'm going to make one over here at 2 inches this way, and then I'll go 2 inches this way. Okay, now they're all, I got 3 spots on there. So I'm going to sew it because I want the threads coming from the middle. So I'm going to put that one through there in the center, and then I'm going to come back up through close to the, oh, that's pretty close. Come up back through that first dot, and then go back through this middle dot, and then most of you probably already know how to do this. I'm always the last one. But, and then I'll come back up through this top dot. So I got 3 dots. Let me see now, just, there we go. Now, there. Now, but let me tell you, this is going to be, this journal is going to have 8 sections. 8 sections. Okay, and let me tell you why, just as soon as I get this thing knotted. I gotta make a knot in here. Right here. Then I'll put my hearts on the end of these strings because I need to have heartstrings inside each one. Okay, now it's a nesting journal, and I'm going to tell you why. Gosh, things are falling off my desk. Okay, let's put that over here out the way, because now I only put 3 sheets of paper in here. This one's going to fold up, make a pocket, and then a page. This one's going to fold up. This one's going to just be a page. This one will fold down and make a pocket. And then this one is just a page. And the back cover will fold up to make a pocket. That's all the farther I am on it right now. Now, I made this one, and this one. Okay, now, what I'm going to do here now, I tied this one in the center and this one toward the top, and so this one I'm going to tie it, well, that one should be toward the top because of this, but I know it's not going to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut me, I found that if I pop a little piece of paper over the where I'm going to punch my hole, then it's just a little bit more secure. So I'm going to just do this with this piece and this with this piece. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this one maybe right here. Yeah, I'm going to do this right here. And what I have is I've got just a little hole punch right here that punches. Oh, well, I could glue that first. Let me see. Let me just glue that with a little glue stick here. And a little glue stick here. Okay, and then I'm going to just stick this on here. And just a minute, this is going to make sense to you in just a minute. I didn't want to wait till I was like finished or farther into this journal before explaining it, because it's going to take a little bit of an explanation. A little bit of explanation. Okay, so here I'm going to put a little glue and a little glue. Okay, and then I'm going to put this right on here and just get it the same. And I'm on the other side there. But I want to make sure it's lined up with that one. So this part of the cover and this part of cover both have that little bit of extra on it. And that's putting that on there just for extra strength when I go here and I punch. This here puncher punches like a little slit. See how it has a little slit there? And so, there we go. And so I'm putting a little slit there and a little slit there. Then I have a little piece of bias tape here. So I sewed the pages in. I'm putting the little bias tape here. No, this is seam binding, not bias tape. And I'm going to just tie that on there in a knot onto this. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that about there, and then I'm going to put that on the other side of this too. Then I can start explaining to you exactly my thought process in this nesting journal. Okay, now see, now I'll be able to tie this shut in a nice little bow. See? Nice little bow. Okay, I'm going to get the whole journal put together before I actually start decorating pages. This is, now I have the first 3 pieces. See, that's the first 3. There's going to be 8. Oh, 1949. That's when I was born. That is the year of my birth. This card is really cool. I found it at, and I think they have them there, Cracker Barrel. If you all have a Cracker Barrel, you can find a card that is got the year of your birth. The year of my birth was 1949. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Not this hairband here. These are just the first 3. But this is why they're going to be a nesting journal is, let's untie, and untie. Okay, you have heard, I'm sure, of your inner self. This nesting journal is going to have everything to do with your inner self. So, this one right here is going to be the inside, the very inside of my journal. And in here is going to be, it's 1949, the year I was born, to 1959, when I turned 10. My first decade is this book right here. In this book, I'm going to put down any highlights that maybe I remember in that first decade. I'm gonna put out in here where I lived, on my address if I can remember it, which I can, my phone number, I can remember these things. I'm gonna put them down in here. In this section, anything I can remember, and I might find also some pictures I might want to put in here about my first decade. This is my innermost child, and I've got this fixed where I could either make these into pockets. I don't have that many pages in here, but I can put so many flip outs in here to add more. Okay, now this part of the booklet is going to go inside of this one. Now this one is going to be from 1959 to 1969. This is the scary one. From age 10 to age 20 is going to go on this one. And again, I have some, well, I just put that little thing in there, but I got just some pages in there, just some pages that I can write on, but I can add so much. So much can be added. Well, this one here is going to fit inside of this second one. It's going to nest on in there. And then this one here is going to be from, this one here is going to be from 19, this one here, all my teenage years and everything's in there. That one's going to be the wild one. And then this one is going to be from 1969 to 1979, because that's my third decade. So that was age 20 through age 30. And so now in this one, I will put down, in here will be like children that I might have birthed in this decade. It will be the address of where I lived in this decade. Anything, you know, any important little details. And important details. I don't want to put any sadness. If I stubbed my toe, I'm not going to put that in there. But I don't want it to have any sad. I want it to be more historical. I want it to be more of something that can get passed down. I'm 71 years old, and I wish I knew more about my grandparents, my parents. This is going to be something that, you know, if I first, you know, I learned to crochet over here in this decade. This is when I learned to crochet. And I first started learning to crochet doilies. That was using thread. That's what I learned to crochet with. I will put that in here. In this second, in this one that is from 10 to 20. This is where you have the most changes in your life. This one here from age 10 to 20, your second decade. Because when you go in it at 10 and come out of it at 20, holy smokes, the changes that can be made. So here you want to put your schools in there. Where did you go to school? What town were you in? Because like this one, I started out in Esco, Minnesota, going to Washington Elementary, then Winterquist Middle School, or junior high they called it, Lincoln High School. But it ended with me living in Newport Richey, Florida, going to, and then the schools there. I also had a child in this decade or two, and they will go in here. That information will go in this one. Second decade. It's a nesting journal. And then here, this one will go to my third decade. And so, again, what children I gave birth to here, and on the dates, and anything that I can think of. If there's a vacation I can remember that we did, maybe hopefully, you know, a couple picture. We all have, I mean, nowadays people got jillions of pictures of everything. But back this far, I don't have that many photographs because we never had a camera really, and then cell phones were unheard of. But anyhow, as I put this together, all right, so this is the third decade. My second decade will fit inside of here, and it will just open right to the center. And the first decade will go right here. Now, like I say, I've got a jillion more decades to go because I'm old. What's going to put this together is... Papa, come here a second, please. And just take this while I hold this. There you go. Take this hairband and just kind of put it around here. Okay. And we put it down to stick. Okay, thank you. I'm done with you now. You've done your work job for the day. So now, okay, hon. So I have this like a traveler's journal. This is holding the 3 decades together. But what I do now, the reason I have a tie on each one this one here is going to be tied together like this. That's my first decade. That's when I was just that little girl, from when I was born until I turned 10. It's going to be all in this first decade of my nesting journal. Okay, and then I'll tie that like that. That's tied nice and tightly into the inside. Because see, this little girl right here, this little 10-year-old girl, once she went into 11, this didn't go away. This is still nested inside. All of this was nested inside. So then, in these, on this side and on this side, will be things that I have put in from my second decade of life. There's going to be a lot in this one, so it probably will come kind of thick. But then I tie that with a bow. You tie it with a ribbon. Now you think about it, and all of these little people are inside of you today. Still inside of you today. And so now, once I turn 20, everything is all tied in with a ribbon. It's all inside of me still. And then I went into my third decade. And then it's all, my first 2 decades are tied inside of my third. I hope this is making sense. But this is 3, I got 8. I'm going to make 8 because then my next decade, of course, will be the next page and all tied together with a ribbon. And so here I've got 3 decades right here, all tied together with ribbons. These are all inside of me still. These decades are part of me. This is my inner child. This is my inner child. And so when you think about, you know, you hear a lot about your inner child and whatever. None of that goes away. Every bit of your growing up days and all are still in your subconscious. They're all there. Every bit of this is still there. And so, and we don't want to ignore these kind of things. Now, and I'm hoping that once, you know, decades after I'm gone, that somebody will look through this and learn a lot about me. They'll learn to know about what Aunt Liz was like, what grandma, great-grandma, great-great-grandma, this was my great-great-grandma in this yearbook. But see, now, the first 2 inside there, I just folded them in half. This one, I made a little bit of a spine on it. It's only about 3/8 of an inch of a spine. And then when I make the next one, it'll be a little bit wider of a spine. When I get, and because it's going to get wider and wider at the spine here, this will get wider and wider because of so much inside of that. And so, and then when I'm finished, when I get all of them together, then I'm going to take an old book, and I'm going to take the guts out of the book and use the cover to put everything inside of. And then when you look at it here, you're going to see all these ribbons of tying all those little girls, for me, little girls, together inside. And so it's gonna be fun to decorate the fronts of each section. But then when you tie them tightly inside of you with a pretty ribbon, and they're all going to be pretty ribbons. And so your whole spine here will be pretty ribbons because of all those decades that you finished. It's like a chapter that you finished up and to start the next one. And they're all in there tucked safely. So, and so if there is even like sadness, there might be some sadness in my second decade. I think in most everybody's second decade, you might find sadness. Um, and one of the saddest things about my second decade was when I was 14, we had to move from Minnesota to Florida, and I did not want to leave the farm. So I will put, although that's a sad memory, that's going to go in here. That that's going to go in here because it is a memory. And even though it was a sad memory at the time because I didn't want to leave, I would, if I didn't leave, I wouldn't be where I am today. And where I am today is happiness, total happiness. So, you know, sometimes you go through sad times to get to total happiness. And so I just wanted to show you that my start. You'll see more about it too as I get going, but it's my nesting journal. And I kind of called it a nesting journal because of the nesting dolls, the Russian nesting dolls. And there's another name you call them, begins with an M, and I can't think of it right now. But Maracucci, Marahucci, Maracati, yeah, something. Maybe it doesn't start with an M. But it, and I've always thought of those nesting dolls as, and I've got a real beautiful, that one was sent me by Mandy, that starts, you know, with the little bitty one in the middle, and then it goes out to, I think there's 7 dolls on that one. But this one here is kind of the same as those nesting dolls. But it's a nesting journal. And we do a lot of journals. I do a lot of journals. And a lot of my journals are just fun. And they're fun, they're relaxing, they're whatever we want to call them. I have a sewing journal that I put sewing things. I've got a teddy bear journal that I put my frog journal is made out of paper bags. It's got frogs in there. They're fun. But this one here is just going to be all about me. My nesting journal, all about me. My kind of my history. And I have another journal that I'm putting thoughts in. Uh, but this isn't even going to be that. This is going to be more of memories. And so I'm hoping somebody will like this. But each one will, this here band, then will hold them all together. And this band, then when I put the final cover on it, but it'll, and if I go into a ninth, a ninth decade, if I'm blessed enough, well then another cover will go, and it will be able to, because it's all put together with the, like the traveler's notebook type of band in here. But that will be a nesting journal. And so I hope now somebody else may have done this or something similar to this, but this is something that I kind of hope everybody will do, especially if you've got children, grandchildren, or nieces or nephews, you know, people beneath you. Oh goodness, not beneath you, of course, but that will enjoy something like this when they go through your effects after you go across Rainbow Bridge and they find something like this. Then what I'm hoping is that they will enjoy something like this, keep this, and just leave a mark, of the things you loved, the things you learned. In my 20 to 30, that's 30 or 30 to 40? 30 to 40 is when I, so that'll be my 4th decade that I played softball with the Teachers League. I'll put that down there. Well, I would love to know if my mother played ball or if what she did. Oh, I was a Cub Scout leader, and I was a Girl Scout leader, and enjoyed doing things like that. I had a 4-H club. This is the kind of stuff I want to journal, so that this will be a history book. So that's just what I wanted to show you this morning. It's just that start to what I'm doing, and I'll put a lot of decorations, hopefully pictures as well. Yeah, that is what I'm hoping. That's my goal for this journal, and this is just a start. But I wanted to just kind of show you, like even now in my well, it'll be in my seventh decade that I'll put that I started my YouTube channel. And you know, people reading that 100 years from now, they'll say, "What the heck was a YouTube channel?" They'll have to Google it to find out, or whatever they do at that time. But okay, for my reading today, I'm going to read out of Poems of Faith, and I'm just going to open and see what it says. The message of the fire lily. The message of the fire lily. I don't think I've ever heard of a fire lily. Okay. The crackling flames rise skyward as the waving grass is burned, but from the fire on the veld, I gotta get that. Let me start over. The crackling flames rise skyward as the waving grass is burned, but from the fire on the veld a great truth can be learned. For the green and living hillside become a funeral pyre, 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 as the grass across the veld is swallowed by the fire. What yesterday was living, today is dead and still, but soon a breathless miracle takes place upon the hill. For from the blackened ruins there arises life anew, and scarlet lilies lift their heads where once the veld grass grew. So again the mystery of life and death is wrought, and man can find assurance in this soul-inspiring thought, that from the bed of ashes the fire lilies grew, and from the ashes of our lives God resurrects us too. You know, that's quite amazing, the message of the fire lily. And you know, we have in our country a lot of wildfires, and a lot of wildfires. I think most of them are like in the fall when things are drying up, and it is sad when that happens, because it really burns up. It burns up a lot. And when you're thinking about the wild, like the forests and such. But after it burns, after it burns, everything that grows again from it is even all that much more vibrant. And I mean, it's sad to lose something, but then it grows back so much more vibrant. And so, for from the blackened ruins there arises life anew, and scarlet lilies lift their heads where once the veld grass grew. This is all of these are so amazing in this book. I love reading this book, or all of my poems by Helen Steiner Rice. Man, just to live inside of her head one day and just think about all the things that went through her mind as she wrote her poetry. She started out writing poetry for greeting cards, but she just kept going, and I enjoy her things so much. Look at them beautiful flowers. So anyhow, okay, that's what I wanted to do today, is just to show you the beginning of my nesting journal. And I hope this might even catch on to other crafters or other journalers as just another way of journaling. And just because I think journaling is amazing. It's so amazing for yourself today, is to write things, write your thoughts, write things down. And I believe it's going to be very valuable to those we leave behind one day when we go on over Rainbow Bridge and then go through them Golden Gates. And that's when we truly retire. Okay, and so I ask God to watch over you every step you take and every move you make. My mouse is missing again. Where is my mouse? Oh, there it is. Okay, so anyway, yes. I ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make, bring you back safely and healthy and happy and well-fed to the next video. I ask God to watch over you. Bye-bye.